What's up, everybody? Big Herc, fresh out, and for another edition of interviews. And it's been a minute, but got the homie here, Mark Ferrara. It's been about 5 years, Mark?
Well, about 3 years since I saw you, 5 years since the original situation.
Okay. Yeah, he's back. He's in town, in Venice out here. We're out here chilling. And I want to do a little follow-up with him, man, to see what he's been up to and what's new with him. So, Mark, why don't you tell the people initially, like, you know, what you went down for and then, you know, what you're doing these days.
Yeah, what's up? It's Mark Ferrara. It was about 5 years ago, June 4th or June 5th. So 2 days ago, 5 years ago, that I got busted in a big steroid situation. State of New Hampshire. Got involved with the wrong crowd and got a little bit in over my head. Ended up doing almost 2 years in a state prison. You know, I've been out for about 3 years now. That's when I saw Big Herc. And you know, it's just every day. It's not a day that doesn't pass that you don't think about it. As much as it's the past, you know, our subconscious mind always kind of tends to never let go of the traumatic. You know, so it's a double-edged sword. You know, in a sense, it's you want to kind of sometimes let go and completely forget it, but on the other hand, makes you appreciate, you know, simple things that much more, and also makes you put things in a better perspective and you know, not get wrapped up in things, you know, with the past. But you know, right now I'm training clients and, you know, doing some training back in the East Coast. I have some clients I train in Boston and some clients in New York as well, and just you know, enjoying things one day at a time and working out every day as always. You know, enjoying good meals. I'm a simple guy. You know, prison made me more simple, but you know, it's about the sum of it.
So what would you say has been like how you've been able to, you know, be successful? Because I know a lot of guys, like we interviewed a guy recently who's having, you know, trying to get employment, and he was having problems. And I told him, I said, man, you know, the best thing if you're an ex-felon is to try to become self-employed.
Absolutely.
So, you know, what has been the major thing that's allowed you to be successful as an ex-felon, you know?
Well, you know, I've always, even before, you know, regardless of moving product or whatever, you know, if you will, I was always kind of working for myself, whether it's training or getting independent modeling gigs. And you know, even if I wanted to get a job in the gym, my charge, I have a lot of connections in the gym business. If I work for a gym, you know, once you explain the charge, there's a lot of guys in the gym business that, you know, it wouldn't bother them. But regardless, I go to people's apartments or condos or home gyms, and I train them outside. Of course, there's people that put my name up on Google, you know, but it hasn't stopped me from, you know, building a small little empire, and hasn't, you know, stopped me from getting clients. Every day is a struggle. You know, one client comes, you got to find another one, but I'm always trying to hustle, always trying to, you know, promote my training, put up ads, and you know, for the people that want to sit, you know, the people that see my stuff and judge, I don't need them as clients anyways. You know, I wasn't you know, I think a lot of people will see my charge, and it's not gonna stop them from wanting to, you know, hire me as a trainer. So
what are some of the things you have in the works? I mean, as far as future plans, what are some of your goals? You know, now since you're, you know, you got your feet wet and you got your business going, what are your you know, goals you have in the future?
You know, really just grow my business. You know, training business is a funny thing. You know, you kind of, it's a revolving door. You have and I never really lose a client because they don't want to train with me. It's life happens, they move, things like that. So just trying to keep a consistent business and trying to keep the numbers up, and, you know, make an honest living, if you will. But you know, as far as other goals, maybe acting, maybe some commercial stuff, or, you know, and it's a company in New York that does some workout videos. Hoping to link up with them. They're also somewhat of an agency, and they, you know, work with bodybuilders and stuff. So, you know, the sky's the limit. I love bodybuilding. I always, you know, I love training. So, you know, keeping my body in tip-top shape is always kind of what motivates me, you know, regardless of what else is going on in my life. So, and that could open up other opportunities. But I feel like if you get your health and, you know, you're in a good place physically, you know, you have more confidence to, you know, put yourself out there in many different respects.
And what kind of advice would you give to, like, you know, ex-felons out, you know, that are, you know, guys who are getting out, or guys who are ex-felons that are out, as far as, trying to establish themselves in society, trying to get back into the whole, being a part of society, being productive? What kind of advice would you give them?
It's definitely a readjustment. I mean, it's taken me almost up until right now, which is, like I said, being out for about 3 years to, feel confident in myself. And the biggest thing is when I got out, I wanted to feel like a part of something. I think one of the biggest things is, a lot of people don't think about it, but, when you get out of prison, you feel like you're just you're just in the middle of nowhere. You feel like nothing. You just feel empty in the respect that, even if I had a basic, simple job, at a Gold's Gym, didn't matter. I just wanted to feel like a part of something, a part of society. Feel like I was contributing, helping. That was important for me. And you got to start, baby steps. But it's the biggest thing is get your mind on tight. It could be a big mental readjustment, and sometimes you need to kind of focus on really filtering out having the right people around you, and getting the negative people completely away from you, because the mind becomes a lot more sensitive, and fragile, if you will, after a situation as such. So, it's an adjustment, but you have to find what you're good for, and sometimes it's if you could be alone in prison, you could be alone and kind of find some self-discovery, and you might get into something you never thought you might be good at. And but the biggest thing is feeling like you're a contributor to society. Actually, when that link is missing out of your life, it's really an emptiness. And once you kind of fill that void, it's even if you're not making 6-7 figures, it's just knowing that you're part of society and contributing somehow and helping people somehow, it goes a long way.
So now, since you've been out a while and you've seen some level of success, have you seen people change as far as like friends and family, as far as trying to reach out to you or reconnect old relationships or things of that nature?
I really, when I was in prison and the whole thing went down and kind of like the aftermath, it was a time, and a lot of people will say this, they've done time, is a time to realize who your true friends are and who really never was, never shouldn't have been. And so a lot of those wrong people kind of were filtered out, before I got out,
Okay.
And a lot of shit talkers and a lot of people that talk, behind your back, and it was a big story, and a lot of people knew, and but it's not my business what other people think of me, and it's not relevant. I don't really give a shit. But as far as my family goes, they've always kind of been by my side and been supportive. Great relationship, my brother and my father and my mother, and my friends have always been there. I have very close knit friends. My good friend Mike, Anthony, and Matt, Howard. Some of my good close friends have always been there for me, and so I've always kind of been a introverted, private person. So it's my support system is always I've had the same friends that I got out, and I got the same friends now, and
Okay.
they still support me, and we got our backs. But I keep my circle small for that reason. And the people that were there before I went away, I don't even, who the hell knows where they are? It's not relevant. Don't matter.
So kind of like to change the subject a little bit, and I know you're into fitness and bodybuilding, and I know you love to work out and train. What is your whole outlook on the industry as far as the bodybuilding and fitness industry? Do you have any, do you have any say-so in what's going on right now with the industry or input?
A lot of the industry right now is a lot of YouTube characters, and right now with the social media really becoming huge, really big part of the industry right now, and there's a lot of there's a lot of people that make their presence just by social media, and I think it's great. There's a lot of drama, there's a lot of bullshit. There's also a lot of people using fake weight plates and things like that. I train because I love to. I try to inspire others. I may compete one day, I may not, but I train harder than most guys that do. I love to train, and I'm not comparing myself to anyone in the gym. I don't care to be like anyone. I just really care about being better than yesterday. So I have a different outlook on my training than most people. So competing is great, but like I said, if I never competed, again, that would be great. That would be fine. Like I said, my motivation is really this. Training and working out is a spiritual release for me. It's a therapy for me. It's beyond being competitive. It's always kind of been there for me. It's what I've always been in control of. So training will be there whether I'm in the industry making money off it or not. Training is always going to be a part of my life, and what others do, it's sometimes I find a lot of the stuff on YouTube entertaining. I'm subscribed to a few of the channels, but I train to look forward to it tomorrow.
Okay.
And to inspire others and try to help others be motivated and be healthy.
So Mark, we get a lot of people hitting us up about nutrition, putting on size. We got a lot of fans looking to try to bulk up, gain weight. What would you, as far as on a nutritional aspect of the bodybuilding game, what would you recommend for somebody who's trying to get bigger? Because I know you put on significant size since the last time we've seen you, and you know a lot about dieting and stuff like that. What kind of advice could you give somebody?
Yeah, actually last time you saw me, it was about it's probably about 190, 200 maybe, and definitely not as hard. I still got a long way to go, and there's always things I could be doing better. A lot of times we think we're doing everything we can to be where we want to be, and when you kind of write things down and you put things in perspective, a lot of people really aren't. Eating 2 to 3 hours. I try. I'm a big fan of red meat. I think red meat is great for putting on good size. I keep my eating pretty simple. I love red meat. I eat a couple pounds of it a day. One of my favorite bodybuilders, Mike Matarazzo, did the same. And
I remember him.
Yeah, I try to eat like a couple pounds of red meat a day. I'll pick one starch and cook a lot of it for the day and just keep it simple. Usually I find baked potatoes are the easiest. I cook up a bunch of them and steam them. Mm-hmm. I don't go crazy on counting or weighing things. I eyeball things. I weighed things for so long that I think it just makes it robotic when, it takes the enjoyment out. But like I said, I do a lot of red meat, a lot of grilled chicken, fish here and there. I did a lot of fish when I was younger, so but red meat I feel like is really good for putting on size. Peanut butter.
Yeah, I do the peanut butter.
One of my simple meals, I'll do. In prison they actually had a protein powder that you'd get on what we call a holiday package. Did they do those back? Yeah, it was a couple times a year you get a holiday, and I actually had some protein powder. And one of the meals I do to this day that I've been doing since I started is a little bit of protein powder, maybe a scoop or two, some oatmeal, and some peanut butter.
Every
so you
morning.
get your protein, your fat, and your carbs. And if I can't cook one day, or if that might be the only meal I do all day, many times a day. And but it's not ideal, but it hits your macro. It gets you what you need. But I keep it simple. I mean, I don't once a week or every 2 weeks I'll have a burger. I don't kill myself. I feel like if you deprive yourself too much and go to extremes too much, first of all, it takes the enjoyment out, and extremes of any kind are not good. But I keep it simple. I don't do anything crazy. I do believe your body needs carbs, fats, and proteins. So everyone's different, though. Some people are more carb sensitive, and a lot of this comes from years of doing this and learning my body, and I'm still learning every day. And someday if I had too much carbs, I'd cut back a little bit for a day or two, and less bloated. But it's all from years of experimenting and really closely monitoring my body. But I still got a lot more to learn, and I'm here for the journey.
Good shit, man. So wrapping it up. If you had to, say anything else to the public, or if you want to shoot out your contact information, what would you share with our fans right now? What would be your ending words with this interview? Yeah,
I'm available for online training, photo shoots. Also, if you're local in Boston or New York, I'm available for personal training. You can check out, I usually do Instagram. I got a website, I don't do much with it, but my email is bostonmuscle@outlook.com, and my Instagram handle is markferrara.bodybuilder. And, hoping to hear from you guys and positive feedback, and, like to say what's up to everyone. And for those who supported me, what's up to you too.
Hey, I would like to say thank you for Mark for coming out doing this follow-up. It's really good to see somebody doing something positive with their life after having gone through prison. I know it's rough. And you guys feel free to send us your comments. Support our channel, subscribe. And, like I said, if you got any questions, you can always shoot us an email at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. We love y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Big Herc, I'm out.